If you want to learn how to paint, the easiest place to start should be YouTube, or so I thought. YouTube is full of wonderful courses. The problem is that time is short, videos can get repetitive, and the answer doesn't come straight. Well, this video will be my journey of what I learned from watercolor portrait tutorials, a step-by-step guide that I needed at the beginning, and the best short summary I can give to you. At least it will be a fun and cozy introduction. Also, down in the description, I put a mix with the great painters and videos that taught me all of these. And as a bonus, you will get my take on watercolors from the perspective of me, a decent-ish painter. Let's get to it. One of the most important observations was that watercolor styles are unique. All watercolor painters have such different styles and art. With that out of the way, we start with the first thing that you need to have and you need to understand is that paper differs, color palettes differ. In the beginning, I tried this Oxford paper. Something was wrong because my dark legs would just feel off. It was either me as a nobody that was a beginner and didn't feel comfortable with the paper, or the paper itself. So I blamed the paper, as any righteous woman would do, and switched to my old trusty Artix paper. And you can see the difference here. You need to get used to the paper and feel how many layers it holds and how fast it dries. You don't need a fancy paper, just one that you can trust. The problem is that you have to try them to find the one that works for you. I advise you, if you didn't buy one yet, to go to a shop and look for the cheapest ones and just buy one that feels thick enough and try it and see if it works. Or if you have more time, you can look at Google reviews and what people actually painted on it and with what materials. By the way, this is not sponsored. Let's be serious. Who would sponsor me with my 30 subs? I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. Also, you don't need fancy pigments. If you can blend them, it's fine. Here, I try as much as my camera allows it to show you how you blend the colors, but you pretty much do it on instinct and try it on another paper. If now that we have the materials, I will structure an easy plan based on the layers. By the way, short note on the layers, they should be as few as possible because otherwise you will get a muddy look and dry when you put another one on the top because otherwise they will mix and you don't want that. Now the first layer. It will be very transparent. The big thing that I struggled with was that I didn't understand the wet on wet technique and I used to scrub the paper and that would give the skin a not so realistic look and I would wonder why it looked off. First, you add clean water. I find it easy to add it bit by bit and not on the whole face at once because it will dry out. Second, you will mix yellow and red with a ratio dependent on the reference. Some areas may have more of it and some less. You can play with it. Third, don't forget to leave some highlights with no pigment. Don't pick too many or you will have a way too bright face. But some reference can allow it, so I would usually pick 2 or 3 areas. Fourth is the variation. If you struggle with uniformity, you can tilt a bit the paper, but if you have relatively cheap paper like me, I would not stamp a lot of water because the paper won't hold all of the layers. It is enough if the paper starts shining. The second layer, we focus on the form of the face. Here we will try to make the cheeks round, the nose pop, and so on. You can have 2 ways that you either combine them or use them separately. I recommend the first one a bit more because it will look better. It will look like skin if you use this one. But the second one will give you more control. So the first one is using again the wet on wet technique where you add more pigment in some areas and less pigment in some areas gradually. And let the water do its job and blend everything. You should not overdo it and you should have close looking colors. The second one is making shadows with soft edges. I think it's dry on wet or something like that. So you can get this effect by blending the corners with a semi-damp brush. I like to test it on my skin. If it's not wet and not dry, it's good. Either way, you will see it on the paper because you can like drag some of the pigment. The third layer is the hardest and the most problematic one because you need to paint the actual cat shadows, the darkest ones. That made me fail all of these portraits. Before we start, a little bit of the theory that I know. In watercolor, shadows matter more than light. Shadows make the shapes and forms of the object. It gives depth. Now, how do I achieve them? 1. You get the color of the shadow by mixing red and blue, more or less with yellow to brighten it up a bit. 2. Pay attention to the pigment. You need to gradually get to the darker shadow, so don't go overboard, as I did here, and put a very pigmented shadow first, because you cannot get the other layers and make it gradually look darker. You need layers underneath, sub-layers, I guess. 3. Use shapes. Triangles, rectangles. Your eyes follow the edges. when you look at the drawing, so pay close attention to the shape that you use for shadows. For some references don't have cast shadows, and that's okay, don't stress it. You don't always need them. Bonus, if you want to get used at seeing shadows, you can actually turn your reference into black and white. By the way, you will get the black with adding more blue in the watercolor, not by actual black. The last layer is details. For hair, some artists use a round brush with dry pigment. With this, you follow the flow of the hair and add some dark spots and done. Easy way to do hair. For the background, to achieve a pop-out effect, you can use negative values. Basically, you paint outside what you want to have the pop-out effect with negative, so very pigmented or black colors. It also hides mistakes, like you can define the shape of the face more and make the shape lighter. Or some people use splashes. I don't use them, but you can try. The second most important observation if you want to learn how to paint fast is painting small and a lot. That way you can use every failure to experience something new as a consolation, because yeah, this one sucks, I know. But also to see if you can repair it or to try something new without being afraid. As bonus tips. In the beginning, either don't stress the outlines of the pencil too much or just use a trace up. Worry about anatomy later. If it looks like skin, it's okay, even if the face is distorted. Look, this one looks like a fish, but it's kinda looks like skin, so it's okay. On the same note, if you rub the paper with gum a lot, the paper will react badly with the watercolor and the layers will look bad. And lastly, pick references that you actually want to paint, even if they are hard to do. This will motivate you to finish them and begin. It takes me 30 minutes to 1 hour for a small portrait, so you can always try again. Oh, and don't forget when you feel pressure to take a step back, relax, and come back after an hour or so. Watercolor can wait, trust me. There's no need to rush it. If you come this far, you have all of my respect and sincere thanks. I hope I helped you. My watercolor skills might not be that impressive, but I plan to improve and make a part 2, maybe. Give me a like and a subscribe, and let's see each other again, friends.